Today's episode of A Brief History is sponsored by Squarespace. Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out more information. It's Christmas! Hey, that's after Thanksgiving, and Black Friday is a corporate scheme to increase sales from the public, so as far as I'm concerned,
it's Christmas!
And in my house, nothing says Christmas quite like a bitter, vindictive green yeti who just wants everyone to have a bad time. But after my Uncle Morris leaves, we like to sit down and watch Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Strangely enough, I don't think I ever owned the original book, but the Grinch cartoon special has been a part of my holiday traditions for literally as long as I can remember. We had it on VHS, we watched it on Cartoon Network, and then we changed the channel and watched it again on ABC Family because it was freaking everywhere, and I even listened to the songs on my CD player when it was like April. It's just a classic through and through. And then they made one with Jim Carrey. You know, this guy.
A Tommy gun!
Yeah, I was like 4 years old when the live-action Grinch came out, so it's also been in my life for about as long as I can remember. And yes, I'm one of those people who absolutely loves this movie. It's weird, dark, kinda creepy, and everyone looks like mole people, but hey, that sounds like Christmas to me. But as much as I loved the Grinch growing up, when I heard that a new Grinch was coming out, and it was being made by Illumination, aka the Minions people, oof, okay, yeah. We're gonna get to that. But for now, hello and welcome to another episode of A Brief History. Today's episode, The Grinch. Ready, set, So, The Grinch was first created all the way back in 1955 as part of Dr. Seuss's poem The Hubbub and the Grinch. But The Grinch didn't hit the big leagues until his first solo gig, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Published in 1957, How the Grinch Stole Christmas was written by Dr. Seuss as a way of reconnecting himself with the spirit of the holiday season. Kinda like the plot to all those Hallmark Christmas movies. Just replace the spunky 30-something businesswoman going back home to her family farm where she'll rediscover the simple joys of life with Dr. Seuss writing a kid's book about a hairy dude. And clearly, this was a story that was just dying to be told because it only took Dr. Seuss a few weeks to finish. And aside from the ending, Seuss claimed it was one of the easiest books he ever wrote. So, what was it about? Well, How the Grinch Stole Christmas was a simple story about a man who commits several accounts of breaking, entering, and grand theft across his entire town because Christmas is too loud, and in the end, everyone just seems to be okay with it. The Grinch then realizes the true meaning of Christmas, experiences a severe cardiac emergency, they all live happily ever after, and that, Charlie Brown, was what Christmas is really all about. But seriously, Dr. Seuss's Grinch is an absolutely timeless children's classic. So I guess it only seemed natural to take this story about not needing material things to celebrate the holidays and milk it for all it was worth. Okay, but for real, on December 18th, 1966, a fully animated adaptation of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas was premiered exclusively on CBS. Directed by Looney Tunes legend Chuck Jones and narrated by actual Frankenstein's monster, the Grinch TV special was nearly word-for-word faithful to the book, but made several notable new additions. It was this special that gave the Grinch his signature green color, where in the book he was mostly black and white, and the special even added a bunch of original songs that are now holiday classics. Songs like You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and the one where it sounds like they're singing about Foghorn Leghorn. Foghorn Leghorn, Foghorn Christmas Day. Unfortunately, the Grinch special was released during a time when TV was not starving for Christmas specials. You know all those terrifying Rankin Bass stop-motion Christmas specials? Yeah, the Grinch...
Oh no, it's the Grinch! It's the Grinch! Look out for the Grinch, everybody!
You know all those terrifying Rankin Bass stop-motion Christmas specials? Yeah, The Grinch was released pretty much smack dab in the middle of a lot of those. So at the time, The Grinch was mostly viewed as just another Christmas special. But of course, time has been very kind to it. These days, the special is a bona fide holiday classic, joining the ranks of Charlie Brown in the cartoons this old would never usually be shown on TV in 2018, but screw you, it's Christmas Club. It's a very exclusive club. I hear they have a doozy of an initiation. And following the Grinch TV special, 2 more animated Grinch specials were made, including 1977's Halloween is Grinch Night and 1982's The Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat. That one's rated R. All this, and to think Dr. Seuss wasn't even really that keen on making the special in the first place. Yeah, the Grinch cartoon was apparently Chuck Jones's idea, and due to Seuss's less than stellar experience making his movie The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, it took quite a bit of convincing just to get the special off the ground. Needless to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway, Seuss did come around, the special was made, and 34 years later, someone thought it would be a good idea to do it again, but this time not animated and with that guy from Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, around 1998, the movie rights to The Grinch were put up for auction with a starting bid of $5 million and a sizable chunk of merchandising revenue. Basically, The Grinch ain't cheap. What, do you think this guy's green just for the fashion? And of course, plenty of people tried to snag the rights to The Grinch. The Farrelly brothers, John Hughes, and 20th Century Fox all pitched different versions of a Grinch movie to the Seuss estate, but were turned down. Apparently, Fox's version of The Grinch would have starred freaking Jack Nicholson as the lead. You know, this guy.
Where are you, Christmas? Where can't I find you? Where have you gone?
But anyway, eventually the Grinch movie rights were acquired by Universal Pictures, with Ron Howard set to direct and Jim Carrey set to star. A role that literally required hours of makeup every day and a CIA operative who specialized in training people to withstand prolonged torture just to get through. Seriously, Carrey was so furious over the long and painful makeup process that he nearly quit the film day one, and they had to hire a CIA operative to coach Carrey through his role just to keep him on the film. It's really putting me in the Christmas spirit. And thus, on November 17th, 2000, the live-action Grinch movie was released to buttloads of box office money and an overwhelming response of... Yeah, there are plenty of people who hate this movie, and I can see why. It kinda looks like Dr. Seuss, but all the colors are muted and everything just looks kinda gross. The comedy is weirdly adult and inappropriate because that was just kind of a thing in 2000s kids movies. And overall, some people just don't think it feels like Dr. Seuss. And I get that. But gosh dang if I don't watch this thing every year and have a blast. To some, it's a betrayal of the original. For others, it's a nostalgic classic that they watch every year. And that's okay, we can have both. The 60s cartoon and the 2000s live-action film have both been holiday staples for as long as they've been around. And no matter which one you prefer, they've managed to coexist in festive harmony for 18 years now. Too bad Illumination decided they wanted to mess things up.
Oh, banana!
Shut up! Yeah, I guess 2 Grinches just weren't enough, for in 2013, it was announced that the studio behind Despicable Me, Minions, and even another Seuss book-turned-movie, The Lorax, were set to adapt the Grinch into a 3D CGI animated movie. But given the largely mediocre reputation of most of Illumination's films, and general Minion fatigue, I don't really think many people were looking forward to this 3rd Grinch adaptation. Nevertheless, the film is a thing and officially premiered on November 9th, 2018. And I'm just gonna be honest here, guys. I wasn't expecting much going into this movie, and I got about what I expected. Like a lot of other Illumination films, it was pretty safe and predictable, even for a story that's 6 decades old. It made some changes to the original, but none that really affected the story in much of a meaningful way. It was far, far from the worst movie I've ever seen, and I'm not gonna spoil anything for anyone who wants to go see it, but yeah, I thought it was way bland. And it's not just me who thinks that way. Despite doing pretty good at the box office, The Grinch currently has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is only slightly higher than that of the live-action Grinch. But even if you hated the live-action Grinch, you can't deny that it was unique and had a lot of personality. Where Illumination's Grinch doesn't seem to have enough of its own identity to even become a cult hit. It just kind kinda seems like another kids movie. But I could totally be wrong here. Maybe in a few years, everyone will love this movie and it'll be yet another Christmas classic. But, it has a screaming goat meme joke, and they do it 3 times. So... The history of the Grinch is really all over the place, isn't it? This character and franchise spans over 60 years. I don't think any episode of A Brief History has ever gone back that far. We don't usually go further back than the 80s on this show. But all that is just a testament to how timeless Dr. Seuss's work is, especially the Grinch. But timeless stories will inevitably be retold, and that's where things for the Grinch got hairy. Grinch adaptations range from being classic and beloved to controversial but still kinda liked to why was this even made? But hey, I'm sure people said the same thing about Jim Carrey's Grinch back in the early 2000s, and I still have my Grinch plushie that I got from a Bilo back when I was obsessed with that movie. I loved the live action Grinch as a kid, so I'm sure the new generation will love their Grinch. Will it become another holiday classic? Are we gonna have 3 Grinch specials playing on ABC Family by next Christmas? Who knows? Only time will tell. Good or bad adaptations aside though, The Grinch is a Christmas classic that has lasted for decades and isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And no amount of minions or prosthetic noses is gonna change that. So no matter what you celebrate, happy holidays to everyone watching. Be sure to watch your favorite Grinch this year and make sure that you let everyone know that your Grinch is the superior one. I'm sure they'll love that. And that is what Christmas is all about. And you know what else Christmas is all about? Advertising. So I feel it only makes sense to thank the sponsor for this episode, Squarespace. If you guys have been watching my videos for the last couple of months, then you know who Squarespace is. These guys provide a great service to anyone wanting to build their own website. And with all the crazy coding and stuff that's usually involved in website building, it can be a pretty daunting task. But Squarespace's awesome all-in-one platform makes it all incredibly easy with zero hard coding required. And their library of designer templates mean that it's just as easy to make your website look amazing and professional. So you can deck your virtual halls without decking your wallet. And I feel immediately stupid for saying such a cheesy line, but it's true. For if you want to try out Squarespace, then you can snag yourself a free trial by heading to squarespace.com right now. And when you're ready to launch, be sure to head to squarespace.com/FootofaFerret and enter the code ABH to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Seriously guys, Squarespace has been a huge supporter of the show over the last few months. We all know how unpredictable YouTube can be, especially recently. Like that one night that I decided to go have a good time at a church's concert, and then YouTube decided to just completely shut down for like an hour. You leave for 1 second, and everything just disappears. Bye-bye! But it's the kind help of sponsors like Squarespace that help keep channels like mine alive. So if you're interested, that link again is squarespace.com/FootofaFerret with the offer code ABH. So major thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring, major thanks to you guys for supporting the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching guys, and DFTBA.